All right, so this shouldn't take too long. I mentioned before, it took about 20 minutes, and then a couple of people had some questions. Let me admit these folks real quick. Okay, so portfolio setup directions. If you guys remember from the faculty meeting, I mentioned to you that this was to honor the expectations of the profile of a Virginia graduate. And just to also remind you guys, we have a lot of inconsistencies in our school building, specifically how last year ended. And so we have a large group of students that were not able to set up their portfolios last year. And for those of you who were involved in the technology onboarding from last year, you may have remembered that it was a little bit crazy. So one of the things that I told people was to not worry about student portfolios. So there was some inconsistency with which classes did portfolio setup at the beginning of last year. So in summary, we basically have a 7th grade group of kiddos that have not set up their portfolios. Of course, our 6th graders have not set up their portfolios. And then 8th grade is going to be probably the most inconsistent group of them all. But of course, we also have new students to Hanover that have never done any of this. Okay, so that's kind of the negative part of it, is the inconsistency throughout the building. But our goal for this mission is to make sure everybody's in the same place by the end of it, okay? So this is a 4-step process that I've outlined for you on the directions, and we need to make sure that this is done by May 14th. So that's our hard cutoff date. So I do want to let you guys know that obviously Chris and I are here to help support you. So if this is a bit maddening to you and you would like to sign up for us to just kind of help be tech support in your classes when you go to roll this out, we will gladly do that. Just go onto our appointment calendar on the BCMS 411 site, and you can book an appointment with us, and we'll be glad to help, okay? Now, what I have done for you is I'm going to go to Schoology real quick, and in this BCMS content curations, I believe if you are an ACE teacher, then you all are members of this. And in the direction sheet, if you're not a member of this course, the join code is there for you. But this is the same place that you would have gone to get your flexible learning day materials. Now, I do have a folder that I set up for you that is meant for you to simply copy to your ACE course, okay? And it's all set up. All you have to do is copy it. You don't have to do anything with any assignments. You don't have to edit settings like you did for Flexible Learning Day. It's just 2 little clicks, the gear icon, copy to course, and it's done. And you're ready, you're set up to do this with your students, okay? So once you copy it to your course and you're on the day that you're going to implement this in your class, what I would do is simply pull this up because it has everything that you need to review this with students, okay? The first item here are the student directions, okay? Some kiddos may benefit from the written directions with the little screenshots over here on the right, okay? So they have access to this, and it will walk them through that 4-step process. In addition, here is step 1 in a video, step 2, step 3, and step 4, all in videos, okay? So basically what you need to do is hit play and allow your kids to watch the video and follow the directions.
Honest interruption. Hold on. Dr. Broneman, if you're here in the building, can you report to the main office for a moment, please? Dr. Broneman, if you're here in the building, can you report to the main office, to Dr. Fowler's office, or give me a call at extension 2287. Again, Dr. Broneman, we need to talk to you, extension 2287, or if you could meet me in my office at this time, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so again, these videos go click by click on what each student is supposed to do, okay? So hit play at certain times in the video. You may need to hit pause and then go around to your kiddos and make sure everybody's kind of staying on pace, answer any questions that they may have. Okay, so all 4 videos are here. So the 4 steps, the first one is simply creating the portfolio. Now, just to give you a little history, our elementary kiddos when they set up their portfolio during their time in elementary school, they actually set it up in Google. Okay. So this process here is once they move to secondary world, they have to then migrate it over to Schoology. Okay. And the reason behind that is our students cannot share googly stuff outside of our domain. But once they put it into their Schoology portfolio, Schoology allows them to share outside of the domain. And that's kind of the key thing there. When they get into the latter parts of high school, when they're starting to apply to different things, they can share pieces and parts of their portfolio. Okay, so that's why we have to migrate it over to Schoology. Okay, let me check the chat real quick. I see a question. My concern is the second video, it has so many steps to follow. Yes, there are a lot of steps. And I think the key thing there is to just do one step at a time and pause it. Let everybody do it and then play, pause, play, pause. I think that's kind of what you're going to have to do. Again, sign up for Chris and I. Will be glad to be another person in the room. I bet Jennifer McClintock would also be more than happy to be another person in the room to kind of spread the wealth. I can talk to her about that as well. This is not super fun by any means, but we do have to do it, unfortunately. Okay, the second part of the video is where they are going to be uploading their old portfolio folders. What that means, if you remember, they created them initially in Google. So they're just going to be linking their folder from Google inside their new folders in Schoology. So that's what that video is about. There's going to be some content that Bolander has been working with from the career counseling lens that they are going to need to add to their career counseling part of their writing, or excuse me, of their portfolio. So that's what this video is about. And then the final one is adding the content, any content that they want to add to the portfolio. Now, bare minimum, the requirement is 4 writing samples that can come from any content area, and it can be any part of the writing process. So it doesn't have to be that traditional 5-paragraph essay final draft. It can be anything that they consider to be something that represents their growth. Okay, so when they go to choose their work, it is supposed to be student directed. So they're supposed to be choosing the assignments. Of course, we can recommend some things, but if they don't feel that that represents growth over the year, then they don't need to add it. Okay, any quick questions about that 4-step process and kind of how to set it up in your class? Because you're just going to be showing it directly from Schoology. Okay. Now, you may have kiddos that kind of get this right off the bat and want to work ahead. So that's where, of course, copying this content over to your ACE course is beneficial. So if you have kids that finish up real quick, just tell them to go on to the next video. If they have earbuds, they can just rock on and do this self-paced. Now, you may have kiddos that need the video, need the written directions. So this link right here in your directions is the link to the student directions with the screenshots. Just know that this is a 13-page document. So you probably don't want to make a copy for every single one of your kiddos, maybe just a handful of copies to have at the ready if needed. Okay. All right. I see a question. Let's see. Can the portfolio be counted for grade for any class? No, it's not to be graded. All right. So the final piece of this is keeping track of students completing their portfolios. So I'm going to go to the faculty course. Inside the Bell Creek faculty course, there is a folder for student portfolios. And there's one assignment that you guys have to complete indicating that you have completed this.
Oh. Point interruption. Dr. Broderman, if you're in the building, please contact Dr. Ballard at 2287 or report to the main office to see me for a moment, please. Again, Dr. Broderman, if you're in the building, please report to the main office or give me a call at extension 2287. Thanks.
All right, not sure who that person is, but that's all right. Okay, so here's the assignment that you guys need to complete. It's probably best to go ahead and open it up and get started. It's a spreadsheet that you are going to first enter your student names in the first column here. And then as your kiddos set up their 4 folders, they create those 4 folders in their portfolio, you're just going to check them off. And then once they have added their 4 writing samples, you can simply check that off. And then you'll initial right here indicating that you have done this with your kiddos and have verified that they've added materials. Okay. Now, when you go around in your class and are monitoring, I would kind of do this all at the same time. Maybe you have a different method to the madness, but once everybody's kind of set up, I would then have a final check. Okay, everybody go to your portfolio, and I should see 4 what I call folders, but they're individual kind of portfolios. Schoology calls them portfolios. I like to call them folders, but whatever. But you can see from afar that everybody has 4 folders. Okay, and then once you verify that, then you have everybody open up their writing portfolio and then verify that they've added 4 writing samples. And it should start with whatever grade they're in. So if they did this like 2 years ago, for example, they may have had 6th grade, blah, 6th grade, blah. So this year, if they're in 8th grade, they would have 8th grade in the name of the assignment, 8th grade in another name of the assignment. Okay. Couple questions in the chat. Let's see, what happens to us if we don't finish this thing by May 14th? You get to retire early, Arco. That might be your motivation. The goal is May 14th. We ask that, if something comes up that's preventing you from meeting that deadline, please let us know so we can help you. Let's see, what happens? Can we make multiple sheets if we teach multiple ACE classes? If you want, in that one spreadsheet, you can add tabs down here. So where it says sheet 1, I can rename this and name it A1. And then I can click this plus sign, or actually I would do this instead. Don't do the plus sign. I would duplicate so that you have the columns.
I guess I was wondering, is it required for me to have, I teach 2 ACE classes, so can I put all of them on this one first sheet page, or should I make 2 separate sheets to differentiate between the classes that I teach?
I think it's up to you. You can put them right all on here, or just duplicate that and have one sheet for each block. Totally up to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, Senemi says, Arco, if you don't get it done, you'll be given all ACE classes next year.
Hey, Stacy.
Yes.
If you teach multiple ACE classes, I know you said you teach 3. Mr. Morgan, I teach 5, but I split them with other folks. Who are we giving that responsibility to make sure that it is done? Is it both? Is it the person who comes in first or the person second?
Yep, this question kind of came up yesterday, and I talked with Tracy and Scott, and we are going to hopefully have a kind of master list of who's doing it. It's also, whoever's doing your flexible learning day, that should be the person kind of doing this as well. So how did y'all work that out, Samantha?
We've been mainly the person who is in the ACE first has been responsible for taking care of and setting that up. But it's kind of been a dual thing. We share the documents, and we share the folders. We can still check on the kids in the room because we're all those that are assigned to the room are in the room. But that's how we've been doing it. Just want to do the same exact thing, and that's
yeah, I would stick to whatever you're doing with flexible learning day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to double check.
Okay. All right. What other questions do you guys have? No other questions? All right. I just want to make sure Also, if you had a chance to look at the teacher directions on the second page, it does show you the step. It has the written instructions, the video link, as well as any notes associated with it. So I've been giving you kind of some background information, specifically, you know, kids would have created this in elementary school, or some kids may not have done this, so they don't need to do it again. For example, this right here. So take a peek at those little notes. You may even want to print this out as you're reviewing it. This information is reviewed in the videos as well for the kids. So when you're showing it, that information will be covered as well. Okay. The one thing that I am begging you guys to do before you do this with your kids is to make sure that you review these videos, just so you kind of have your head wrapped around what is being expected of the kids, and that way you'll be able to answer questions better if they happen to get stuck. Okay, so please take the time to do that. All right, any other questions before we wrap this bad boy up? All right, guys, well, I appreciate your time. As I mentioned before, if this kind of stresses you out and you want support, please sign up for a time slot, and Chris or I will be glad to support you when you do this with your kiddos. Okay? Have a marvelous Thursday, guys. I'll see you around the building.
Thank you.
Bye.